Well, Chit Chat Kit Kats. Well, you've seen the thing I posted in the post section. My dad, and people say, oh, you look like your dad. Well, I look like a blend. I've got my mother's eye color, the blue eyes and stuff, but I do look more like my father's side of the family. But, yeah, when he was singing, he played, and he taught my mother to play bass. My father could play piano, guitar, and bass. And, as you see from that one picture, I mean, he was young when he started playing. I mean, he didn't look any more than, 15, 16 years old, if that. Now, I remember seeing one photo of him when he was a kid, and he was dirt poor. I saw him, a picture, he was going to school. He was on this horse, barefoot, with these, overalls on. So they were dirt poor. He was born in Kansas. And I guess he kind of ran away when he was pretty young, and they put together that group. Now they played, they were a Western swing group. And they did play for, they had a command performance for the president. I'm trying to think who it was. I think it was, what's the name of the one that was, Truman. It was for Truman. So they did do a command performance for the president of there. Now, he used to play. They had a radio station and stuff, and he played in York, Pennsylvania, is where my mother's from. He met her there. And they used to play at Hershey Park. And I know he was talking about, they played the show with, what's his name? I guess he is, I have always been so bad with names my whole life. Oh, Johnny Cash. And Johnny Cash came out, and I mean, he was just drunk. He came out to the microphone, and he passed out. My dad said he passed out. And so they just told him, he had the flu, or they made up some excuse. But he was drunk, and he passed out at the microphone. Now, my dad had those he wore Western boots his whole life. I never saw him in anything else other than that. Always wore cowboy boots his whole life. And I put up this other song that he did, smoke, smoke, smoke that cigarette. Well, he did smoke for a lot of years. He quit smoking, but it caught up with him, and he died of lung cancer. Now, one thing that happened, he used to do the song Rye Whiskey, and he'd black his teeth out, he'd black some teeth out, and he'd come out with his hair as all, it's like, and he'd be stumbling around the stage, singing rye whiskey, I cry. If I don't get rye whiskey, I surely will die. Well, they were doing a show, and I read this thing on it and said, yeah, they had real guns on stage, but they had blanks. Well, one time they didn't have blanks, and they shot my dad in the leg when they were performing. He said he felt something wet in his boot, and come to find out, he got shot in the legs because somebody actually had a bullet in one of the guns. And so he was wondering, why is my boot so wet, But yeah, they played, and we lived up in Wisconsin. I went to a one-room schoolhouse for a bit. I actually went to a one-room schoolhouse. And they would come up and do the shows in different schools I went to and everything. They'd come up and they'd have me come up and sing. I was so embarrassed. I had to go up in front of the school and sing. And then they had the radio program, and one time he had me on this radio program singing. And I was singing Que Sera, Sera. Again, I was so embarrassed because some of the kids at the schools, we heard you sing. I was like, oh, I was so embarrassed. But anyway, yeah, growing up, I met people like Tex Ritter and, what's his name? The one that did with, what's his name? The guy, my dad looks like him, and he sings. His voice is exactly the same as, what's his name? I'm so bad. He had the TV program. Very popular. Now I can't remember his name, but my dad and him sound alike. And they wanted to make my dad play his brother on this TV program, but his name almost came through and it just went out again. But he nixed it because he didn't want my dad to get too known and stuff. I could see his face. They look so similar, and they have the same voice, my dad and this guy, and he was so popular. Oh, that drives me crazy now. His name just keeps going right by real quick. But you hear him all the time at Christmas time. He sings Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And every time I hear that come on at Christmas time, now I didn't hear it this year anywhere playing, but it always sounds just like my dad. And so that's always kind of weird when it comes on and I hear him sing or come across one of his old programs. Oh, Smiley Burnette was the one that was with him. Smiley Burnette. So I met Smiley Burnette and stuff. And then I remember they would practice down in the basement. And they had this woman. And she played lead guitar. She had these long red nails. I mean, really long red fingernails. And her fingers would fly on that guitar. I couldn't believe it. She was so fast. I didn't know how did she play guitar with those really long fingernails. But she did. And yeah, she was quick. Now, I wish I had some music that my mother did. She had a really good voice. And one time, oh my God, my dad wanted to do this music. Well, where we were living, they had an empty hall. And so, we kind of have an echo. Because back at that time, you didn't have all of the echo chamber, all the stuff going on that you have now. But He'd written this song, and my mom and I were doing harmony with it. And he'd want us to stick our head in this metal trash thing to sing to get this more echo going. But every time we stuck our head into singing this thing, there was a dead cockroach at the bottom of it. We just crack up laughing. My dad got so mad. He was so mad. But how can you sing to a cockroach just laying on that? Oh, my Lord. That was so bad. That was so bad. But yeah, the original group, my dad was the lead. And then right after the war and stuff, and during the war, my dad was a Navy pilot, and he was flying a one of those amphibious planes. And I guess his thing was if a plane went down and stuff, he'd have to try to go out and rescue that crew members and stuff. Now, he never spoke too much about it. It's the only thing I know, but he remembers all the people in his unit. I know that. He would remember that. But he never spoke about anything other than that about the war. And, right after that, I was born in 50, and when I was born, that was, he quit. And then Andy Reynolds became the lead singer and took over the group. I guess my mother must have put the kibosh on it, because, I guess she wanted him to get a regular job that's more consistent. Okay, but yeah, so I was kind of the end of his music career. It did not make him happy. He really wanted a son, so when I was born and he had to quit his music career, he was not a happy person, let's put it that way. But anyway, that's the things I remember about, most of his music career and everything was just before I was born. So, I only know a little bit about all that stuff that happened, the recordings and the, and he had, one of the people that was with the group was Leonard Zinn. And I think it was Leonard Zinn was the one that worked with one of them. Now, I read this other thing that said Smokey, but I don't think it was Smokey. I think it was Leonard Zinn that worked with Jacques Cousteau. He was also diver and a photographer, and he was working with Jacques Cousteau. And then the guy that was playing the violin, fiddle, was Cliff. Now, Cliff was a Cherokee Indian, and they got the name from Cliff's mother that lived on the 101 Ranch. I guess it's a very famous ranch, something like 110,000 acres in Oklahoma. And Cliff's mother was the one that suggested the name for the group. So that was interesting. So, again, it was one of the first Western swing bands. So, I know the name of the guy now, Gene Autry. His voice sounds like Gene Autry, and he looks like he could be Gene Autry's brother. Okay. And Gene Autry had that TV program, and they actually were considering my dad to play his brother, but Gene Autry nixed it. So yeah, that was his big chance, but it fell through. Anyway, oh my goodness. But yeah, I was surprised when I saw that one photo where he looks so young. 14, 15, something like that. He was really young when they started playing. And I think the first place they played, it was in Kansas. I'm trying to think of the name of it. It's I hate that because it's right on the tip of coming into consciousness, and then it just evaporates. Oh, Union. I think it was something like Union where they started playing. Or Liberty or Union. It was something on that order in Kansas was where they first started. Liberty. Maybe it's Liberty. Yeah, I think it's Liberty. I'll have to look up and see. But maybe it's Liberty. But anyway, yeah. That's the craziness. That's the craziness of it all. Hi, Mr. Mickey. Did you come to see me, Mickey Mick? Huh? Mr. Mickey, what you doing? What you doing, little man? Huh? You come give me a kiss? Yeah, you're such a good boy. You are. Your mama's good boy. What are you doing? You gonna come sit on my lap? Yeah. Is that it? Yeah, you're a good boy. So anyway, yeah, I just thought I would put those out there, the crazy things, you know, that crazy things from the past. Anyway, on that note, I'll leave that here. And we'll see you online. Well, I decided I'm going to put this together. This is a real quick music selection. The first one that's playing is my dad. And then you'll hear, I'm switching over to Gene Autry. And you can hear their singing style, their voices are, they're exact. And then my dad looks very similar. Now, the picture I have in the thumbnail is not the best, but in a lot of them, they look very, very similar, like they could be brothers. And again, their singing voice is the same. And another thing I just found out I didn't know, during World War II, my dad was a pilot. Gene Autry was also a pilot during the war. Okay. I just found that out. I had no idea. So that was really interesting as well. But anyway, onward we go, and here you can hear for theirself, their voices. Like I said, you know, when some of the things come on by Gene Autry, it's just like knocks me for a loop because they sound exactly the same in a lot of the songs that they did. Like Back in the Saddle, you hear Gene Autry, my dad sounded exactly the same. So anyway, on that note, I'll leave that here and onward we go. Let me know what you think. Have I lost my mind? Or do they sound alike?
Between the lines, dear, it seems to say there is no other, there couldn't be. Between the lines, dear, it's plain to see. I saw the teardrops like gentle rain upon each page, dear, they were so plain. Oh, I still love you and call you mine. I'll always read, dear, between the lines.
Okay, that was my dad. Now I'm going to find this other one by Gene Autry. And you can just hear their voices, how similar they are.
Down Mexico way, that's where I fell in love when the stars above came out to play. And now as I wander, my thoughts ever stray south of the border, down Mexico way. She was a picture in old Spanish lace, and for a tender while I kissed the smile upon her face.
So I think they're, let me turn this up. I think from there you can see, you can hear how similar they really sound. I found this one. This was from 1943. It was one of my dad's reading one of the fan leathers, and this is one of the things he would send out. Yep. And I got, some of his old records, Columbia. And then there's another one from, is this also Columbia? Got another one from Columbia, and yeah, this is also Columbia. And then this one was one that they put out. This was re-released in Germany. I think it was in the, was it the 80s or 90s, something like that? They re-released this in Germany because they were interested in Western swing bands. Anyway, hopefully this has come out where you can hear. I wish I could find, because my dad sang a lot of the same songs as Gene Autry, but I can't find a recording of them both doing the same song. If I could, that would be great, but I can't find it.